Hello and welcome to Change is Good. My name is Brian. In this video, we'll be going through another $500 box of half dollars. We're going to be looking for silver proofs, NIFCs, varieties, mint errors, foreign coins, anything worth more than 50 cents. In front of me, I have a list of every known and attributed half dollar variety on Kennedy half dollars. This is everything that I could find on Variety Vista and Webster'sDoubleDot.com, as well as some mint errors you can find on specific dates. We're going to be looking for these to fill the albums. We've got a bunch of albums to fill. It's going to take some time, but we're going to make a little bit of progress. Now, let's see what's in this box. Nothing out of the ordinary that I can see, but there are 50 rolls. Let's get started. Roll number 3. We have our first find of the box, an NIFC, or not intended for circulation, a low mintage 2018 D with a mintage of 6.1 million. It's actually one of the more common NIFCs you can find, but it's in pretty good shape, probably good enough for the album. Let's keep going. Roll number 10, we have a variety. Let's go to the scope. Here we have the reverses of two different 1973 Philadelphias. The top example is the regular die. The bottom example is DDR number 2 on Variety Vista. The bottom example has slightly thicker lettering than the top example. The bottom says that the S's are a bit more rounded than sharp, like they're on the top example. And the S's also have tighter curls on the bottom example than they do on the top example. And if you're still not sure, you can get up close and hold the coin upside down and look for notches at the bottom right corners of the lettering and the word America. You can even see a nice split here at the bottom right leg of the R. All right, let's go back to the box. Roll number 14. We have another NIFC. This time it's a 2006 P with a mintage of 2.4 million. All right, let's go back to the box. It's been a pretty tough box. Roll number 31. We have another NIFC. This time it's a 2003 D with a mintage of 2.5 million. A little bit of circulation we're on it too, but that's all right. Let's go back to it. Roll number 35. And you guessed it, another NIFC. This time it's a 2005 P with a mintage of 3.8 million. I don't know about you, but some silver or some more varieties would be nice. Let's keep going. Roll number 42. And the theme continues. Another NIFC. This time it's a 2009 P with a mintage of 1.9 million. It's in pretty tough shape too. It's been out there for a while. All right, 8 more rolls to go. Well, those last 8 rolls weren't very nice. Let's do a quick recap. Well, that was a pretty tough box. Even though we had 6 finds, 5 of them were NIFCs. Luckily, we got one variety, a 1973 P, DDR number 2. I also pulled 3 nicer examples out for the albums, a 1972 D, a 2021 P, and a 2022 P. For those of you who watch this channel on a regular basis, you know that one variety is not going to cut it. We're going to have to do another box. All right, let's open her up and see what we got on top. Looks rather normal. All right, let's hope it's better than the last box. Let's get into the rolls. This box is being stubborn too. We're on roll number 18. We finally have our first find. And it's an NIFC, a 2008 D with a mintage of 1.7 million. All right, let's hope it gets better. Let's keep going. Well, the boxes remain tough. We're on roll number 30. We finally have another find. It's another NIFC, a 2016 P, mintage of 2.1 million. All right, let's keep going. Well, the box hasn't gotten any hotter. We're on roll number 40. We finally have another find. It's another NIFC, a 2017 D with a mintage of 2.9 million. Well, that's 3 NIFCs. Can we get anything better than this? Well, folks, there's an empty box. Let's do a quick recap. Well, we were hoping for a better box. Instead, we got one considerably worse. We only had 3 finds in the entire box, all NIFCs. They were a 2008 D, a 2016 P, and a 2017 D. Folks, you know how this works, right? This means war. All right, box number 3, the pressure's on. What do you got inside? Looks normal. Let's see what happens. Well, we're off to a quick start. We're on the first roll. And this time we have two NIFCs. They're both 2008 Ps with a mintage of 1.7 million. Well, that's a good sign. Let's keep going. Well, maybe it was a good sign. We're on the same roll. We have a variety. Let's go to the scope. Here we have a 1971D. You'll see extra thickness here in the lettering and the motto, a little bit in the date, and the mint mark is placed fairly close to the neckline. Over here in the word trust, you can see faint splitting at the bottom of both legs of the R and the top of the U on both sides. You'll also see extra thickness in the T in Liberty with widened split serifs on both sides, with the right side being a bit wider than the left. And if you look at the E in Liberty, you'll see a split at the bottom corner of the middle bar. This is DDO number 14 on Variety Vista. It can be identified by the shape of the I and the motto and the placement of the mint mark. All right, let's go back to the hunt. Roll number 2. We have another NIFC. This is a 2006 P with a mintage of 2.4 million. From this point forward, any more NIFCs we find, I'll just cover it at the end of the hunt. I have a feeling there's going to be a bunch of them. Let's keep going. Roll number 4, and this box is heating up. It's hard to see it because it's dirty and covered in some kind of crud, but if you look closely, you can see it's an 87. A key date from a mint set. They only made 2.89 million from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, so it's a scarce coin. May have gotten missed by another hunter, you never know. I'm going to soak it in some water. We'll reveal the mint mark later. Let's get back to the box. Roll number 8, we have another variety, but before we go to the scope, I cleaned up the 87. It's an 87P, pretty scratched up, but it'll be an album filler. We now have one of the 3 key dates. Now let's go to the scope. Under the scope are the reverses of 2 different 1972 Ds. The top example is a regular die. The bottom example is DDR number 1 on Variety Vista. You can see the lettering on the bottom example is a lot thicker than the top example, and the bottom serifs of the S's are rounded and wide compared to being thin and sharp on the top example. And if you hold the coin upside down and get up close, you can see the notching at the bottom right corners of the lettering in the words United States of America. All right, let's get back to the box. Roll number 13, we have another variety. Under the scope is a 1971D. You'll notice extra thickness in the date and in the motto, with the letter I looking rather normal, except for being a bit wider. Over here in the word trust, you'll see splitting at the bottom of both legs of the R and the top of the U on both sides, and the splitting goes straight up instead of at an angle. The T in Liberty is also a bit wider than normal, with widened split serifs on both sides, with the right side being wider than the left. This is DDO number 4 on Variety Vista, or the FS 101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Many coin roll hunters, even professionals on YouTube, will consistently confuse other varieties for this one. And that's easy to do when there are 17 different DDOs on Variety Vista alone for this date. So if you think you've found this variety, I recommend checking out Variety Vista and comparing the pictures there with your example. The 3 main keys to identifying this variety correctly are the shape of the I, which will look rather normal, the mint mark placement, which is low and closer to the neckline, and the splitting here in the word trust, which is split straight up instead of at an angle. All right, enough ranting. Let's get back to the hunt. Roll number 15, and it seems this box is trying to make up for the first 2. I think we got a silver edge here. Let's see what we got. Yep. Toasty Franklin in 1952. Denver. Our first silver on the board, and it's a good one. Let's keep going. Roll number 21, another variety. Under the scope is a regular 1971D. Look how thick the lettering is, and compare that with this example. Notice how much thicker the date and the motto is. If you look at the letter I, you'll see a split at the upper right, a stepping effect at the upper left, and convexity at the bottom. Over here in the word trust, you'll see splitting at the bottom of both legs of the R and the top of the U on both sides, even though it's kind of hard to see on this example due to the wear. The T in Liberty will also be a bit wider than normal, with widened split serifs on both sides, with the right side being a bit wider than the left. There will also be a split here at the bottom right corner of the middle bar of the E in Liberty. This is DDO number 13 on Variety Vista. It's one of the varieties most commonly confused for the FS 101, but if you take the time to look at the mint mark placement and the shape of letter I over here in the word N, you can see the differences. All right, let's get back to the box. Roll number 32, we have another variety, and this is one I have actually never found before. Let's check it out. Under the scope is the reverse of a 1974 Denver. I'm holding it freehand because it's hard to see the details on this coin, but if you look right here at the bottom bar of the E, you can see a split right in the corner. You can also see one here at the middle bar as well. There's also a doubling in the stars. This is DDR number 1 on Variety Vista. It's a very tough one to find. I've been looking for this one for quite a while, at least a year. Finally got it. Also a slot filler in the albums. All right, let's get back to it. Roll number 43, we have another variety, and this time it's a repunch mint mark. Under the scope is a 1973 D. It's a bit damaged, but if you look at the mint mark, you can see a secondary D peeking out here at the top with some additional separation here on the left side. This is RPM number 1 on Variety Vista, or WRPM number 1 on WexlersDoda.com. All right, 7 more rolls to go. Roll number 46, we have another variety. This is a repeat, so I'll make it quick. It's another 1971 D, DDO number 14 on Variety Vista. You can see the extra thickness in the date and in the motto. There's also faint splitting at the bottom of the R and the top of the U on both sides. The T is extra wide with split serifs on both sides. And it's hard to see it, but there's a split here in the E on the middle bar. All right. 4 more rolls to go. Let's get back to it. Well, that's all she wrote. Let's do a recap. Well, that was more like it. We ended up with 23 finds in that box versus 3 in the last one. I think we can finally declare victory. Those finds included a 1952 D, Franklin half, an 87P, NIFC key date, 7 varieties, which included a 1971 D, FS 101, a 1971 D, DDL number 13, 2 1971 D, DDL number 14s, a 72D, DDR number 1, a 73D, RPM number 1, and my first ever 1974D, DDR number 1. We also found 11 additional NIFCs in that box for a total of 14, which include 2002 through 2008 Ps, a 2009 D, and a 2020 P. I also pulled out 4 decent examples for the albums, which include a 1974 P, 1980 D, an 89 P, and a 93 D. Well, we had to endure some intense suffering, but we didn't give up, and we came out on top. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, or maybe learned something new, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any feedback or questions about any of these finds, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Thanks again, and remember, every coin has a story, whether we like it or not. I'll see y'all next time.